We're going into meditation now, and I was listening to a CD. I've had it for years. It was Mike Dooley's Manifesting Change. It couldn't be easier. And he started that recording with a meditation. And so I'm just going to do that meditation because it was so good. It's me again, the universe. I'm feeling kind of adventurous today. You? Tell you what, let's do away with some rules. Gravity for starters. Time, too. Let's fly and be younger, I mean. Like kids. Close your eyes and meet me over the very building we're in now, hovering in space, looking down at its roof, and off into the horizon that surrounds us. We're slowly gazing all around, soaking up the beauty that's everywhere. When in a flash, everything's turned snowy, snowy white, pure, radiant white. But there is one microscopic exception in the distance, unimaginably far, far away. We see what looks like a tiny, tiny, tiny speck of gold. Gold is always good. At first, it appears that the gold is slowly, really slowly getting bigger. But what's actually happening is that we're getting closer to it. At first, it seems we're moving slowly, but actually, we're moving at the speed of light, and then even faster. It's just that the gold is so, so far away. Ages pass, but the ride is awesome. Galaxies pass, but it's so exciting. Light years pass, yet time stands still. Now, there's no more white, just gold. Nowhere to go because we're already there. And it turns out, this gold is so much more than just a color, because you can hear it too. And you can feel its luxurious warmth on your skin, all over your body. And as you breathe it, it smells like roses or plumeria or jasmine. Most peculiar, you sense it's alive, supremely intelligent and acutely aware of you. You know it knows what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And it's as if your happiness is all that it cares about. Not just alive, but responsive too. Impressionable. Obliged even to flood your physical senses with all that you can imagine, like it's just about to do. Suddenly, the gold begins sparkling. Billions and billions of sparkles envelop you, flashing, winking, shining. And slowly, the gold begins to fade away, pixel for pixel, sparkle for sparkle, it begins manifesting itself into something even more spectacular, dazzling, and magical than what it was. Lo and behold, before your very eyes, right at this very moment, the gold has transformed itself into Sunday morning and yet another day in paradise. Welcome back. You can open your eyes. By the way, the gold was me all along. And so is Sunday. And I love you with all my heart. The universe. P.S. I had to turn the gravity back on, but you're still younger. And P.P.S. Whenever you want a change of scenery or to effect a change in your life, just summon the gold. Thank you, Ray. That was delightful accompaniment. And thank you for joining me in that adventurous meditation. I hope you could feel it. February is a month we dedicate to love. The focus on romantic love, certainly, but in our spiritual beliefs, we celebrate more than Valentine's Day. It's not just an opportunity to express the love we have for our partners. It's not the commercialism of chocolates, flowers, and cards, although I'm not turning them down, just saying. We believe that God is love. We believe that God is everywhere, in all things, in all ways, ever present. And that not only is God, therefore, in each of us, but we are the essence of God made manifest to experience all that is. So we too are love expressing. What a wonderful month. So this month we celebrate the love that is God, the love that is each and every one of us. Every one of us. That's not always easy, is it? Just a few Saturdays ago, I was talking with a friend. She'd come to visit, and our conversation turned into one of those deep and meaningful discussions, as ours often did. This time, it was about human trafficking. She knew I'd been a student of A Course in Miracles for over a decade, so she knew I'm big into forgiveness. But she was questioning, how could I believe that everyone was worthy of forgiveness? I think a lot of people struggle with this. To me, forgiveness is compassion. But we also, when we think of the word compassion, we often think of it as something that we feel about someone who's going through a hard time. And we can relate to that. And we want to be there with empathy and concern and care. We want to offer a shoulder, our love. We know they don't want pity, and that's not what we're trying to offer. We're just trying to give them the space to be and to commune with them. But how often are we able to feel compassion for someone who has done something that we cannot understand? Compassion is not convenient. Compassion is about our capacity to love and evolve as consciousness. And it needs to apply to all. Because if it doesn't, we don't truly understand oneness. Oneness means that everyone on the planet is also me. As in the beginning of the talk, we are all aspects of the one. We talk about the law of attraction. We seem to have an understanding that we're creating our own reality and that we experience everything that's on the outside and understand that it's a mirror of what's going on the inside. But we can't be selective about that. What's going on around us is a reflection of what's going on inside us. And we must have compassion for all of it. During this conversation about pedophiles and human trafficking, my friend couldn't understand how compassion could be applied to those kind of people. People capable of such horrors. People perpetuating such atrocities. And I offered a familiar quote: "Hurt people hurt people." We must extend compassion to those we perceive as being the very least of us. How could we let people get that lost? How is it that people can feel such a disconnection from love, from source, that they're capable of such things? But this is where compassion becomes an inside job. And that's really important. It's an inside job. Because if they are experiencing a disconnection from that which they are, then I must be too on some level. This is where true healing must go. If any one of us is so lost they're capable of doing the unthinkable, then on some level, that lostness is in me too. Any lack of love for myself has the potential to become. This conversation with my friend made me think about things that I've come to believe in my own spiritual journey. Something I learned from A Course in Miracles is that when it comes to miracles, there is no degree of difficulty. A small miracle is just as easy as what we think of as a large one. It is we who misplace our thinking about this. We think if we're asking God for little things, maybe we're not asking too much, as if we won't be too much of a bother. But if there is no degree of difficulty, why not ask for the kind of miracles that heal all the hurt people? The big miracles that bring awareness of the divine into every heart and every mind. I imagine a wave of golden light, like in the meditation, sparkling, twinkling, enveloping every human on the planet. And like oxygen, it's breathed in, and it creates the kind of shifts that make harming one another impossible. And it's so much easier to think of this massive shift occurring out there, happening on such a scale that it changes the whole world, when all that's really needed is a healing of the one mind, my mind. We are but fractals of a hologram. Every shard contains the whole. Heal the one, and all is healed. There is no separation. I can think of nothing better that illustrates this than a story called The Egg by Andy Weir. It's kind of long, so stick with me. And I invite you to experience this story with me. God. You were on your way home when you died. It was a car accident, nothing particularly remarkable, but fatal nonetheless. You left behind a wife and 2 children. It was painless. The EMTs tried their best to save you, but to no avail. Your body was so utterly shattered. You were better off, trust me. And that's when you met me. What happened, you asked. Where am I? You died, I said matter-of-factly, no point mincing words. There was a truck, and it was skidding. Yup. I died? Yup. But don't feel bad about it. Everybody dies, I said. You looked around. There was nothingness, just you and me. What is this place, you asked? Is this the afterlife? More or less, I said. Are you God? You asked. Yup, I'm God. My kids, my wife, you said. What about them? Will they be all right? That's what I like to see, I said. You just died, and your main concern is your family. That's good stuff right there. You looked at me with fascination. To you, I didn't look like God. I just looked like some man, some vague authority figure, more of a grammar school teacher than the Almighty. Don't worry, I said. They'll be fine. Your kids will remember you as perfect in every way. They didn't have time to grow contempt for you. Your wife will cry on the outside, but will secretly be relieved. To be fair, your marriage was falling apart. If it's any consolation, she'll feel very guilty for feeling relieved. Oh, you said. So what happens now? Do I go to heaven or hell or something? Neither, I said. You'll be reincarnated. Ah, you said, so the Hindus were right. All religions are right in their own way, I said. Walk with me. You followed along as we strolled in the void. Where are we going? Nowhere in particular, I said. It's just nice to walk while we talk. So what's the point then, you asked? When I get reborn, I'll just be a blank slate, right? A baby? So all my experiences and everything I did in my life won't matter? Not so, I said. You have within you all the knowledge and experiences of all your past lives. You just don't remember them right now. I stopped walking and took you by the shoulders. Your soul is more magnificent, beautiful, and gigantic than you can possibly imagine. A human mind can only contain a tiny fraction of what you are. It's like sticking your finger in a glass of water to see if it's hot or cold. You put a tiny part of yourself into the vessel, and when you bring it back out, you've gained all the experiences it had. You've been a human for the last 34 years, so you haven't stretched out yet and felt the rest of your immense consciousness. If we hung out here for longer, you'd start remembering everything. But there's no point doing that between each life. Well, how many times have I been reincarnated then? Oh, lots. Lots and lots. And into different kinds of lives. This time around, you'll be a Chinese peasant girl in 540 AD. Wait, what? You stammered. You're sending me back in time? Well, I guess technically. Time, as you know it, only exists in your universe. Things are different where I come from. Where you come from? You pondered. Oh, sure, I explained. I come from somewhere else. And there's others like me. I know you'll want to know what it's like there, but honestly, you won't understand. Oh, you said, a little let down. But wait, if I get reincarnated to other places in time, could I have interacted with myself at some point? Sure, happens all the time. And with both lives only aware of their own time span. You don't even know what's happening. So what's the point of it all? Seriously, I asked. Seriously, you're asking me for the meaning of life? Isn't that a little stereotypical? Well, it's a reasonable question, you persisted. I looked in your eye. The meaning of life, the reason I made this whole universe is for you to mature. You mean mankind? You want us to mature? No, just you. I made this universe for you. With each new life, you grow and mature and become a larger and greater intellect. Just me? What about everybody else? There is no one else, I said. In this universe, there's just you and me. You stared blankly at me. But all the people on earth, all you, different incarnations of you. Wait, I'm everyone? Now you're getting it, I said, with a congratulatory slap on the back. I'm every human who ever lived or who will ever live, yes. I'm Abraham Lincoln. And you're John Wilkes Booth, I added. I'm Hitler, you said, appalled, and the millions he killed. I'm Jesus, and you're everyone who followed him. You fell silent. Every time you victimized someone, I said, you were victimizing yourself. Every act of kindness you've done to yourself. Every happy and sad moment ever experienced by any human was or will be experienced by you. Why, you asked, why do all this? Because someday you'll become like me. Because that's what you are. You're one of my kind. You're my child. Whoa, you said incredulous. You mean I'm a god? No, not yet. You're a fetus. You're still growing. Once you've lived every human life throughout all time, you will have grown enough to be born. So the whole universe, you said, it's just an egg of sorts, I answered. Now it's time for you to move on to your next life. And so I sent you away. A beautiful story, isn't it? I just can't think of anything that better describes what I was trying to say about compassion. Compassion is not just for those who we think need it. It's for everyone. I remember reading Neil Donald Walsh's book, Conversations with God. And it was the first time that somebody had verbalized exactly what I had felt as truth up until that time. I also remember wanting to give that book to everybody on the planet, saying, if you ever wanted to know what's going on in here, this says it perfectly, this book. There's a story, a book called Hitler Went to Heaven. And the cover design, Hitler went to heaven. The L in Hitler was a different color. The O in the word to, and the VE in heaven. So clever. Love was there in just a subtle way. And it was in that Conversations with God book where he talked about even Hitler is in heaven. And it reminded me of a conversation that I had with someone else that many years ago. And that person said, if Hitler is in heaven, then I don't want to go. And so this story of the egg, that we are everyone and that oneness is each of us experiencing, is my message about compassion today. We must have compassion for ourselves because we are all that is. Many of you know that I lost my mom, my dad, and then my sister. Many of you knew my sister, Lauren Lane Powell. In fact, the song we sang at the very beginning, Lord, Your Love, was one that she wrote. But you probably don't know that since she died, I have had a 90-minute encounter with her, a wonderful conversation, one of those deep and meaningful conversations that I tend to have with people. And there were two things that she shared that I really wanted to share with you today. The meditation hopefully helped you experience one of the things she said. She said, "You are huge." Now, I can't talk to dead people, but the person who was bringing her through, who talked to dead people, said that she saw in her mind's eye zooming out to a neighborhood. My sister said, "I knew when I was in my body, I was bigger than just my body." So that was the visual my friend had, zooming out to like a city block. But then she zoomed out bigger and could see the whole earth. And then she zoomed out bigger and could see the whole galaxy. And then she zoomed out so far that she could see multiple galaxies. And she said, "This is nothing. You are huge." And I think that gives me some solace. These things that I think need my forgiveness, in the grand scheme of things, it's just experience. It's just experience. The second thing she shared with me, and this goes along with compassion, is that there is no should. And when my friend was conveying this message from her, she said that my sister was dancing with delight. It was like she had discovered treasure. There is no should. There is no should. And that is what I mean by compassion. It is our perception of right and wrong that keeps us imprisoned in judgment. So let us go forth this month of February to celebrate the love that is God, the love that is each and every one of us. I am love. You are love. There is no one that is not love. I want us to go forth with a more heightened determination to love ourselves, to love one another, and to be especially aware of offering love to those we may initially think of as unlovable, and offer them to our hearts, our compassion, because love is all there is. And I'm going to end with a song. Love is all there is. Love is what we're here for. Nothing else could matter. Nothing else is real. Only love is real. An expression of or cry for. And when you know it can't be threatened, you're not afraid to heal. When you know love can't be threatened, you're not afraid to heal. Thank you.